We're joined right now by an outfielder for the world champion Texas Rangers. He was selected with the 20th overall pick by the Rangers in the 2020 MLB draft. He's a September call-up where he hit 306 in 23 regular season games, but then in the playoffs went to a totally different level. He hit 317 postseason games with a home run, 6 runs batted in, and he reached base in all 17 games. His 9 doubles were the most ever. Most all-time in a single postseason, and he did become the first player in MLB history to have an extra base hit, a walk, and a run scored in each of his first 3 career postseason games. Of course, I'm talking about Evan Carter. Evan, it is great to have you on the show, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, and I appreciate this visit very much. The championship parade is coming up shortly, but I've got to ask, how would you describe the last 48 hours of your life, and has it all even sunk in yet?
Yeah, this has been it's been a whirlwind. Ton of fun though. Wouldn't trade it for the world. But listen, this is a great day. I mean, the parade's going to be awesome. I can see it out of my hotel window right here. It's packed out there, so it's going to be a ton of fun.
I love it. So take me back to August, if you would. You were playing for the Rangers AA team, the Frisco Rough Riders. I'm kind of curious about your mindset back then. Were you just thinking to myself, I'm going to lock in and do what I have to do every single day, and then the rest will take care of itself? Or maybe were you thinking, I know I can help that big team, and was the possibility of a call-up constantly on your mind?
Yeah, I think that the big leagues is the goal for every minor leaguer. You want to get called up and you want to help the big league team win. And when that finally did happen, it was a dream come true. But then all of a sudden, you get thrown into a postseason race, and you get actually into the postseason, and everything just kind of happens so fast. And winning's all that matters. There's no more development like in the minor leagues. So it was really fun.
Evan Carter is joining us. Let me ask you this. I mean, you're only 21. You're just 21, and you were still in AA ball as recently as August. Yet, as I mentioned, you put together one of the best postseason runs ever by a rookie en route to that world championship. It's all kind of mind-boggling what you did individually. Like, how do you explain that?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, I mean, there's a ton of people around me that made me feel confident in myself and, comfortable in the locker room and on the field, and that's a credit to all my teammates, a lot of veterans around me pointing me in the right direction, and, fellow rookies like Josh Young and Josh Smith that were just, there for me and, helped me out this year. And the coaching staff too was unbelievable and, helping me game plan for pitchers. And, I'd never faced anybody as good as what big league pitching was. So it was definitely a step up, but, there was a ton of people along the way that helped me.
I was just going to say, I mean, you answered this in part, but I was going to say, how were you able to elevate your game on the biggest stage with the highest stakes and against competition, the best competition that you had never seen before? How were you able to do that?
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like when you actually get up to the big leagues, I guess you have to be so locked in just because everybody else is too, but it's also a little bit easier to be locked in because you're in, your big league stadiums, you're playing for a big league team. All of a sudden you're in the playoffs. Like it's just kind of, everybody's there to compete and win. And, to do that, you have to be as locked in as possible. And it makes it a lot easier to do that when everybody around you is wanting the same goal as you too.
Evan Carter is joining us. I mean, dude, you're calm. You are really calm. I want to get back to that in a minute. But the one thing that blows me away is your poise. Your manager, Bruce Bochy, had a great line earlier in the postseason when he said, and I quote, "This guy has such a calmness about him. I don't even know if he knows that he's in the big leagues." End of quote. I mean, Evan, like, you do know you're in the bigs, right? Just confirming. Confirming.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I mean, dude, this calmness, like, I'm curious. Have you always been this way? Are you kind of wired like that? Or at least in part, did you learn this?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I would say that that's just kind of how I play baseball. I'm not really the type of person that has to get fired up and amped up to start a game, and the more I think, the more I am tense, I guess, the worse that I play. So I try and stay as calm as possible. And that's how I perform the best.
So let me ask you one more thing about that. Your second baseman, Marcus Semien, a pro's pro, said, quote, "Your swing and your baseball skills, they're beyond his years," end of quote. So if you're beyond your years, how much of that is innate God-given talent? And then how much of that is just sweat equity and grind?
Yeah, I think obviously I'm thankful for God to even give me the opportunity to be here in the first place, and just to give you the ability to play baseball. And then, I guess the other part of that would be always being around a lot of really quality older guys that have helped point me in the right direction. Just playing with older people, you kind of, I guess, mature up to their age and just how they're acting. A lot of college guys in the minor leagues, and then now you're in the big leagues. And, I'm playing with people that are 15, 18, years older than me. You kind of have to, grow up a little bit, I guess.
What's that like, dude? For instance, you look around that clubhouse and you've got guys who are 10, 15 years older than you, and they're living a different life. Like, they've got their families, they've got their kids, they've been in this thing for so long. What's it like to share a clubhouse with guys like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for sure. I mean, I've never experienced that before. I think Max is literally 18 years older than me. But I mean, it's just one of those things that it's valuable in its own way. They've experienced so much already, and you get to learn from that. And you get to be around their kids too, which is really fun. But it's a different experience, but it's always, it's a great one nonetheless.
Evan Carter joining us. I think your mindset's so different. That's why I keep going back to it. Like, what went through your mind when you got that call up? And was there any part of you that thought, hey, man, I'm going to play in a World Series this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the goal of every minor leaguer. When you get called up, it's like, all right, like, I'm here to help the team win. I want to prove that I can help the team win. And that's the end goal of every ball player. You want to win the last game of the year. You don't want to lose. So that's definitely on your mind, hey, this is where I want to be at, and I want to win. And that's just kind of, we got fortunate enough and lucky enough to be able to do that.
Evan Carter joining me for a few more moments. He's getting ready for that championship parade. So let me ask you, you played a major role in that clinching Game 5, not only in coming up with that second hit off Zach Gallen, but you also had a great play defensively where you robbed Devin Longoria of a hit with a runner in scoring position. I ran down your gaudy offensive stats, but how much pride do you take in being able to impact a game with your glove as well?
Yeah, I've always kind of, obviously in the minor leagues and stuff with my manager that I had, he really put an emphasis on defense, and I have too coming up through the minor leagues, and I've just always been under the impression of whenever I'm struggling at the plate that day, I'm going to make sure that somebody else does too and take a hit away from them. So that's just it's always been something that I've taken pride in a lot.
I like it. Just really quickly before I let you go, Corey Seager broke up the no-hitter himself en route to becoming a World Series MVP for the second time in his career. I mean, this was a complete team effort by the Rangers, but how often was Corey able to change the momentum and get everybody else going with his clutch hitting?
Yeah, I mean, you saw it so many times this postseason. What a better person. I mean, it couldn't have been anybody else other than him. I mean, that was just the right person at the right time. Big time players like himself come up big time spots like that and get the job done no matter what. And I can't say I'm surprised at all that he was the person that broke it up and got us going. And hitting's contagious. Right after that, we started stringing some stuff together. So he was definitely the catalyst for that.
So, Evan, let me finally ask you, your manager, Bruce Bochy, you helped him to his 4th World Series championship. What did you know about Boch before you joined the big club? And then what was your biggest takeaway from playing for him for the last 2 months?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I knew before getting there was just his resume is just unbelievable. He's one of the best managers ever. He knows how to win. And then whenever you get there, you understand why he's one of the best managers ever. You get to see how he runs the team, how the relationships that he builds with players. And it's just, you get there and it's like, all right, like I can understand how you've won, 3 World Series now, 4, and it's unbelievable.
And one last thing, I want to shout out your hometown. You're from Elizabethton, Tennessee, population 13,000. How many people back home have you heard from in the last few days? I mean, all of them?
Yeah, basically it seems like. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of support I have back home. It's really cool.
All right, so you got a big day coming up. You've got your championship. You've got your championship parade. Evan, I really appreciate you making time for this program on a day like this. Congratulations. Great to talk to you, and I hope we can do it again soon.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be the first to know when we do upload a new video.